was called to order at 7:30 p.m. by Supervisor Jim Taggart. Present were Garrett Sitz, David Grant, Donnie Smith, Dwight Bruno, Paul Warner, and Mark Lang. The minutes from the April 4th meeting were read. Garrett Sitz made a motion to accept the minutes. Dwight Bruno seconded them, and all present agreed. Rabideau Fuel Group would not let us prepay for diesel fuel. The town will prepay for fuel oil for next year. Under Sheriff Craig DeMond spoke about the opioid problem that we are facing in Delaware County. There is a Delaware County Drug Task Force that is working on the problem. It's a three-step approach. 1 is education, 2 treatment, and 3 law enforcement. Kellogg Education Community Center is applying for a grant for a popcorn maker and a hot cold water cooler. Mark Lang reported that Delhi Telephone Company will be here tomorrow to look at the site for a potential building. CHIPS money should be $250,000 for this year. They are planning on paving more roads this summer. Mark would like to have 10,000 cubic yards of gravel done this summer. The excavator will be here tomorrow and the broom will go back next week. St. Innocents Retreat would like to subdivide their parcel so they may sell part of the land. The planning board meets the first Thursday of the month. Garrett Sitz made a motion to accept and post at the town clerk's office the standard workday report. Dwight Bruno seconded the motion and all present agreed. Mike Wallace was wondering about abandoned trailers. He was told that he would need to talk to the code enforcement officer. Don Hebert has not heard from DEC regarding the landfill solar farm. Franklin Local gave a report to the board. Garrett Sitz requested a recess for legal advice at 9:20 p.m. Dwight Bruno seconded the motion. At 10:15, Garrett Sitz made a motion to exit from recess. Dwight Bruno seconded the motion. With nothing further to come before the board, the meeting was adjourned at 10:15 p.m.
Any additions or corrections? Do we have a motion? Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Carried. Thank you. Well, first we usually will have Dave he'll give his short report on the Trouble Fund.
I gave some copies of the report to the board. I'll just kind of hit the highlights and leave it at that. Just for the financial part, which I always need to hear, the Morgan Stanley account as of May 31st was $966,816.34. And the checking account as of June 5th was $34,810.44. And the May interest earned that was deposited in the checking account was $1,887.16. There's the next few paragraphs. There are some information about grants. The Kellogg Memorial Fund from Delaware Academy sent a check for $1,526 for the Lego Winter Wonderland. That's been all done and over with, but that was the money that was for it. The O'Connor grant, which Don gave me the check tonight, that's for a 55-inch TV, a soundbar, and wall mount. We had matching funds they raised for that. The Kellogg Educational and Community Center has received their motion picture license, which we ordered last month, and I'll be able to show over 1,000 different current movies, and that's to conform with all the legal copyright stuff, and that's on a trial basis for a year. There is a new impending grant application for a couple items that were already mentioned last month and some archival photo storage. And Don, you should hear something from O'Connor about that within the next couple of weeks.
Okay.
Some things that are planned from the Kellogg Memorial from Delaware Academy Fund are more Lego architecture classes, glass fusion classes, and cake decorating classes coming up. Kellogg Education and Community Center grand opening of the relocation is going to be June 10th, which is the same day as lawn sale day in town, and there's going to be a Lego architecture event for the kids, and they're going to show the Lego movie. For the Kellogg Fields, the trust board has approved $3,000 to upgrade the infield on the baseball for the Little Leaguers, or for whoever wants to use that. It's been delayed because of a little bit of bad weather we've had as far as that kind of stuff goes. They've also, the Kellogg Trust Board, Franklin Kellogg Trust Board has also approved removal of a section of the old fencing. It's not the fence that surrounds the field, but it's a section that kind of runs down through the middle of the field. Gonna take that out. 2 new picnic tables have been purchased and are gonna be placed on the Kellogg fields. Future projects currently being looked into include a pavilion for shelter and picnics, a shuffleboard court, and a youth-sized soccer field. And I had a couple questions for the town board, and not to have to answer them right now, but we always get that insurance renewal, we reimburse the town a check for that. We need to know what that amount is so we can get you a check. And there are some questions about some trees near the brook which are being eroded, and we just need to talk about that sometime. A couple of the trees are in the brook, and some are on property that the town owns, and some are on Butchie Miners properties, but there's some of them are actually getting into the brook. They've been undermined by the.
Right.
So I don't know what our responsibility is for that. And this is a question probably for Don, or maybe, does the Kellogg Franklin Trust Board need to provide 1099s to contractors who do work for us? Oh.
If they make more than $600 a year.
Okay, and that for any contractor, or is it just for, like, we hire a person? We have, Christian Walter does a lot of work every month, inspects the playground and does that, so his will probably be more than that for the year, so we'll need to send him one.
Anybody who makes more than $600 a year,
Okay.
unless you're giving them W-2s, they have to have
Okay.
1099.
So that would apply to Veltons who do the lawns too then?
That's
Okay.
right.
That's it? Unless you board has any questions for me?
Well, Mark, what about the trees near the brook? That would be, that's, I think that's something that, the foundation has got to look at, because we said it wasn't gonna be taxpayers' money to,
Oh, yeah, sure.
and I'm not sure how to take care of that either.
Well, I think I know that one person has already talked to somebody from the DEC. It's just a matter of what can we do? And, and
find out what they'll
find
allow
out
you
what's
to do,
going on, and
then
yeah,
go
can we
from there.
touch them? Can we do anything with them?
Right.
Are we gonna kill a trout? Whatever. So we just gotta make sure we do it right when you're talking about anything near the brook.
If it falls in the brook,
Pardon?
if it falls in the brook, you can cut it up and move it.
Okay,
But DEC probably is not gonna let you take them out.
okay. That's what I kind of
They'll
thought too,
Lock it
so.
up first,
Yeah, okay.
then take it out.
But we'll check, and I'll let you know if anything develops.
Okay. Any questions any other questions for Dave? That's good, Dave. I just, the interest seems to be down this month.
Yeah, but yes, a little bit in May. The main account was up a lot though. That's the first time that 2 accounts together have been over $1 million.
I just see the interest usually.
Yeah. It varies some months. Yeah, that part is that's just strictly the income. The other account has the, I don't know, how the investment portfolio works.
Yep. Okay.
Because anytime
Interest and capital are inversely related. When bond prices go up, the interest goes down.
Yeah. If the board ever wants me to arrange for Matt Sons to come and explain anything to the board, we can do that too, if there's any time you want that.
I'm satisfied with what you're doing. You're gaining money, that's all that.
Yes.
Keep it going the right way.
Now, it's been about 3 years and there's around 70,000 more than when we started with it. We've done a lot of projects, so I think it's being handled well.
Yep. Okay, well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, now we're gonna have a presentation from Gates Cole on an insurance proposal. We have JR and Joanne here to run us through it.
I have 2 proposals in the folders that I gave you. Here's just a list of.
David, okay.
Okay, if you open up your folders, the very first thing that's on there is
Do you have
the-
another folder?
Yeah, okay.
He wasn't the last, he won't watch my.
Thank you.
The first page here is what the HCC Public Risk Insurance Company, who's the company that you have now, what they've paid out over the years that they've been with you in claims. And that's how the premiums go. If you have a good year, your premiums are better.
Right.
So you haven't had any claims since 2014. Kudos to you. So there's two proposals. One is Trident, one is HCC. Do you want to go through all the coverages or just want an
Well,
overview?
just an overview of it, I think.
An overview, okay. So your property coverage, you have a blanket total, there's schedules in here, $1,797,592, with a $1,000 deductible for that. And then you have your inland marine coverage. We have scheduled inland marine coverage of $623,717. We have contractors' equipment rented from others. It's a blanket amount of $250,000. So if Mark goes out and rents a piece of equipment, we don't have to add anything or take anything off. It's just easier for you to do that. And that's a $500 deductible. You did have a $2,500 deductible.
Oh, okay.
They lowered it back down to $500. In the back is the schedule of the autos and the equipment, which I've given to Mark. So if there's any discrepancies there. You have $1 million in general liability, which there is no deductible for that. 10,000 medical payment coverage, which covers, that's goodwill insurance. Somebody slips and falls, they're just going to pay up to 10,000, no questions asked. Employee benefit coverage, you have $1 million. That's coverage if your employees, they have benefits, retirement, and you invest that money in something that you shouldn't do, and without their, and you lose all their money.
Right.
The other thing that would be covered in there is if you forgot to enroll somebody in those benefits,
Oh,
and they were excluded because of that, this coverage would pick up on that as well.
You have your directors and officers insurance is $1 million. Employment practice liability, you have $1 million. That's for like you fire somebody and they come back at you and say you did it wrongfully, or you discriminated against them in some way. Your umbrella policy, and this is HCC, and Trident coverage is pretty much the same, so I'm not going to go through both because that's just going to waste your time. Your umbrella, you have a $3 million umbrella. Now with HCC, you'll see this little umbrella thing over here, that cute little pretty thing.
yep.
What that is, this is what they call a stacking umbrella policy. So you actually have $1 million or $3 million, but it goes over each individual coverage for your liability. So you actually have $9 million. If you have 3 claims on each one of these,
Right.
the $3 million applies to each individual coverage. It's not blanketed over all of them,
Okay.
where Trident's policy does not do that. Hopefully, you'd never have to use that, but it's there if you ever did. Not included in this, because we already mailed it, is the crime coverage, which is $350 a year. We've got 35,000 employee dishonesty, and then we have 175,000 on the tax collector herself. You also have flood and earthquake of $1 million. Mutual aid is $1 million. That's if you use another town's piece of equipment or something happens to that. This also covers you for failure to supply with your water district, because the Treadwell Water District is also on this policy. And that's a quick overview. Is there any questions? Bottom line premium, HCC's premium is $23,133. Last year, it was $36,000.
Yeah, that's what. Now, why the drop?
Because your claims history is so much better.
What was it?
$23,133.81. I don't know where they come up with 81 cents.
That's part of the New York State fire insurance fee.
Yeah.
It is.
Trident's
141.
policy, Trident Insurance Company is $23,294, so they're pretty comparable.
So our policy didn't go up much last year, right? Or did, it went down a little bit last
Went down a little bit last year.
year?
Each year it'll go down a little bit. But they looked at your loss history. And I said, you know, what can you do for these people, because they have not had any claims. They've been good. I mean, that's why you have insurance.
You've been lucky.
You've been lucky, okay? One thing I do want to bring to your attention though while we're going on this, is I know that Mang has presented you with a quote as well, okay? And I'm sure that they presented you with NYMER?
Yes,
Okay.
I see that here somewhere.
NYMER is an accessible insurance company. So what that means is if you actually have become, if you go with them, you subscribe with them, you actually become a part of that insurance company. And if there's a major catastrophe, New York State, something happens, they don't have enough funding, it's gonna come back onto you. So I've put some literature in here for that. And it says right here, and this is NYMER's endorsement, this policy shall not be subject to coverage by the Property Casualty Insurance Security Fund and the provisions of the New York State Insurance Law. The insured shall be contingently liable on a several basis for any assessment which may be unlimited and made in accordance with the New York State Insurance Law. That means it is possible for you to have to come up with, to help pay claims if, in the case that that would happen. And then here, they're a reciprocal company. Reciprocal insurance companies are structured so that the policyholders, often called subscribers, insure each other and agree to share each subscriber's risk. So HCC and Trident is a non-accessible company. You will never have to pay a dime. That's the difference. There's a huge difference there.
Any questions?
Has that ever happened before that you know of?
It has not with NYMER, but it has with other reciprocal companies.
Accessible companies.
Accessible companies, yes. What was the fire department up in Rona or Oneida Castle? They actually had to shut the doors because they ended up having to come up with, it was over $100,000, they just didn't have it. Because it is, you do become a member, you actually become part of the insurance company.
We got some homework to do then, don't we?
You know, I think HCC's been good to the town of Franklin. Gates Cole, I think our service is above and beyond. So it's in your hands now to,
Yep.
it does run out the 9th of June.
3 days.
So we need a decision, not necessarily tonight, but if you could get ahold of JR
Yeah, we'll discuss it later, I'm sure.
Okay,
And then we will have a decision by tomorrow morning, I'll give you a call, Jay.
okay.
Okay?
Any other questions, any
Any other
concerns?
questions for Joanne or JR? From anybody, it doesn't have to be town board?
JR is actually, handles your account now because he's back with us, thank goodness, but, I actually prepared all this stuff, so it was just easier for me to come and,
Right.
so he didn't have to do any homework.
Well, he's ugly,
We're a
anyway.
team, we're a team.
Well, thank you very much, Joanne.
Thank you very much.
JR.
Thank you.
Thank you, JR.